welcome to another edition of Ducks No Sports. This week, we're talking about Week 7 in the NFL. Should be interesting with a lot of good matchups this week. From top to bottom, a lot of interesting, intriguing matchups, and should be some very good football playing this weekend. Of course, bye weeks go as follows. Atlanta, still undefeated. Of course, being the Raiders last week. Denver, after a great comeback against the Chargers on bye. Kansas City, which they have a lot to do in their bye week because they are a mess. Miami going the bye week red hot, 3-3, and could be even better than that. Could even be like 5-1 right now. So they're playing some very good ball right now. Philadelphia, of course, firing their defensive coordinator this week, which I think was a long time coming because their defense the last 2 years has been awful under him. And the San Diego Chargers coming up a heartbreaking loss to the Denver Broncos in the Monday night. And they might have some things to get down pat during the bye week. But our first match of the week is the Seattle Seahawks traveling to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Of course, fell last week to the New York Giants. So Seattle, say what you want about Seattle coming the year because I didn't think Seattle would be that good. I didn't think Russell Wilson was the right choice for QB. I would have gone with Matt Flynn, but Russell Williams proven me wrong and everybody else wrong because he is playing great and has adapted his skills well to the NFL. Coming out of Wisconsin, didn't think Russell Wilson would be a great quarterback, but I'm not saying he's a great quarterback, but he is a game manager and is playing really well right now for the Seattle Seahawks. And Seattle Seahawks are playing great football right now. I mean, on defense, they might have one of the best defenses in the league. If not like a top 5 defense, maybe even better. I mean, Bowman, such a beast coming off the edge, and I really like the way the Seattle Seahawks are playing. On offense, just keeping it simple. Quick throws so Wilson doesn't get in trouble. Running the football with Lynch, playing really well. And on defense, just getting after the passer and making the opposite quarterback throwing bad throws. Really playing well right now. And they're playing a team in San Francisco this week who might be with a little bit of chip on their shoulder because I think they were exposed last week against the New York Giants because it's pretty clear when everything is rolling for the 49ers, they are a great football team and are a hard team to beat. But when they get behind in the game, they may not have the weapons to come back. And by the weapons, I mean their head weapon in Alex Smith. Alex Smith has had a great year this year, Pro Bowl type year, but it's pretty clear he's just not that elite quarterback that people want to make him out to be. And he is a good quarterback, a good game manager, but he's not going to come back in games. That's pretty simple. When everything is rolling well for 49ers, when Frank Gore's running the ball well, that opens up the passing game. But when they have to throw, it's pretty clear Alex Smith just doesn't have maybe the confidence on his receivers, or receivers just aren't good enough. And there's some good receivers on his team, from Randy Moss to Crabtree to Vernon Davis, very, very good. But it's just clear that I just think the 49ers just don't have it to come back in games. And if everything's going well, it's good for 49ers. It'll be an interesting test this week because Seattle's playing good. But Seattle plays really well at home, but of course on the road in Candlestick Park, I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers. Will be playing, I think, very pissed off to show the world that they still are a good football team. And on prime time on Thursday night, I think the 49ers get it done. All right, moving on to our next matchup. The Baltimore Ravens traveling to Houston to take on the Houston Texans could be a preview of the AFC Championship game. But before we get to that, we'll have to talk about the Ravens, who took a big blow this past week by losing their leader, their franchise, if you will, and Ray Lewis, of course, gone for the year. And this is a big blow to the Ravens because a defense not playing particular well with Ray Lewis and with their leader on defense now gone. I don't see how this defense is improved. I mean, you already have Suggs out and now Lewis. This might be too much of a blow for the Ravens. They have to really now lean on that offense. And the offense have to carry this team, which we've never seen ever in a Baltimore Ravens team. I mean, Joe Flacco has to step his game up and take it to the next level and lean a lot on Ray Rice because I think Ray Rice should get the ball a lot more than he does because in my personal opinion, I think Ray Rice is the best running back in the NFL. And that being said about Ray Lewis, Ray Lewis has been in the NFL for 16 years, still playing like he's still in his prime. And I really, really hope this doesn't end his career because I don't want to see Ray Lewis go out that way. I want to see Ray Lewis go out winning a Super Bowl. But that being said, he is old. And he was saying maybe this was his last year. And with his son going to college next year, he wants to see him play. Might be on the road for Ray Lewis, might be a sad, sad day, but let's hope not. Let's hope he can rehab, come back from this, and do another season and go out on top like he deserves and that he should go out. But on the other side of the ball, we got the Houston Texans playing. Last week did not play their best, to say the least. I mean, got torched by Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Very, very surprising in a way. I think Brian Cushing might be a bigger loss than they're letting on. I mean, this guy has been a beast since he's come out of college. And the Houston Texans are a very, very good team. From top to bottom, I still think they were the best team in the NFL. But it's pretty clear last week, maybe they're overlooking the Green Bay Packers. Would be stupid. I don't know why they're overlooking them, but something just wasn't right last week. I mean, Matt Schaub was off all night. I mean, they couldn't really run the ball. On defense, they just got torched from top to bottom. And it's pretty clear for a team to be successful, they have to be up. And that relies on Matt Schaub being a beast at the QB position. And I think he will be, because I think Matt Schaub is one of the most underrated guys in the league. I think they can run the ball with the best in the league, and I think they have some of the best receivers in the league. So I think the Houston Texans will be fine. There's a little bump in the road, and hey, there's nothing wrong about getting your butts kicked mid-season and showing and brushing some stuff up. So I think this will be good for the Houston Texans. They go back to the drawing board and go back to getting a little more hungry. And I think this will be an improvement this week, as I think with Ray Lewis being down, I think Matt Schaub will take advantage and Foster will take advantage on that defense. And I just think the Houston Texans come out on top in this one. Okay, our next matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. A good AFC North battle. Should be a great one. Pittsburgh Steelers, last week I gave a lot of praise to Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought Big Ben was playing his best football of his career. I mean, really playing well. And I thought on offense they had this down. On defense they look great, but just last week against the Titans, now didn't get blown out, didn't get their ass kicked. Only lost by 3 points. But that being said, though, something wasn't right the whole game. I never had the feeling that the Pittsburgh Steelers were ever going to win that game. And they did not come out with this one, as it's pretty clear. This team on defense just isn't the same without Troy. I mean, Troy Polamalu was so good, brings so much to that defense, and with him gone for the year, is really going to affect them on defense, because he's their leader, he's their start plug, he's the guy that gets them going, and he's just not there. He's like the Ray Lewis, I believe, of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and to be honest, they need to get on defense, because on offense, you have Big Ben, who's still a good quarterback. I still think a top 5 quarterback in the league. Got some good receivers in Mike Wallace, but on the ground, you just can't run the ball consistently enough to win this game. And if you can't run the ball consistently enough, you got to depend on your game in the air. You're not going to win consistently in the NFL, especially the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers, you have to run the ball. There's a thing you have to do. You have to run the ball, get back to Steeler ball. And they try to get back to this year, but it's pretty clear they just don't have the weapons on the ground to do that. They have to depend a lot on Big Ben. Maybe a little too much on Big Ben. I think they depend a little too much on Big Ben because he's so good. And I just think there's just something just not right about these Pittsburgh Steelers. And they're taking on another team, which is there's just, again, something not right about the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, Cam Newton's got a lot of slack this year for digressing a little. But Andy Dalton hasn't. But if it's pretty good watching the last couple of weeks, Andy Dalton is digressing. Not a lot. I still think Andy Dalton is a great quarterback and will be an elite guy one day up there with the best of the best. But Andy Dalton is struggling for the last 2 weeks. I mean, he got his butt kicked by the Cleveland Browns. I mean, there's no excuse. I know the game was in Cleveland, but still, no excuse. Wait, I think the game was in Cincinnati. But any measure, no excuse for losing to the Cleveland Browns. Andy Dalton played awful. AJ Green, seems to be dropping a lot more balls this year. And again, and on defense, they still got a great defense, no doubt. They can't really run the ball consistently enough. Maybe sign Benson would have been a smart idea, because the Kiss can't run the ball. Andy Dalton will be a great quarterback one day, but just isn't quite there yet. But that being said, 2 struggling teams right now in the North. But I just think the Cincinnati Bengals are more talented, more young, and more hungry to win. And I think the Cincinnati Bengals come up with the win in this one. All right, our next matchup, Monday Night Football. Detroit at Chicago. Should be good. NFC North matchup. And the Detroit Lions I'll give Detroit Lions. I thought they were down and out last week against Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't think they had the heart to come back in that game, but they proved me wrong as, again, the Detroit Lions are never out of any game when they got Matthew Stafford and Megatron. Very, very, very impressive. Team on offense. On defense, not quite as impressive as their offense, but it's pretty clear this team depends a lot on their offense. And their offense is a good offense. Is it a great offense? Questionable. It might be a great offense, but they have a great passing attack. I mean, Megatron just week after week it presses, proving why he is the best receiver in the NFL. Stafford just week after week proving that he's becoming that elite guy in the NFL. And I truly believe Detroit Lions are on the way up, but they're playing a team this week in the Chicago Bears who are very quietly 4-1. Not a lot of talking about Chicago Bears as an elite team, which is kind of shocking because they're in such a big market like Chicago. But nobody's really talking about the Bears. And let's face it, on defense, man, they still, like, year after year after year. I mean, this defense just comes to play. Chicago Bears always have a top defense. No question this year, they seem to get done with the same players. These players seem to get older, but they just seem to get it done year after year. And on offense, they are clicking on all cylinders right now. They can run the ball with Forte. They can pass the ball now with a great receiver they got in Marshall and the quarterback, Jay Cutler, who I'm not his biggest fan, but Jay Cutler is getting it done right now. I really like the way Jay is playing. He's kind of put away the crying and he's come to play the last couple of weeks. And I really like the way he's playing. Besides that little slip-up against Green Bay in Week 2, this team could be undefeated right now and could be one of the best teams in the NFL. I really like the way Chicago's playing. And I like the way Detroit played last week, but I just think, as I've been saying, the Chicago Bears just seem to be on a different level right now. And I think the Chicago Bears lay a beat down Detroit Lions on Monday night and win this game by, I think, 3 scores. All right, the rest of our games this week. Arizona, Minnesota, Kevin Kolb out for the next couple of weeks, so I will go with the upstart Minnesota Vikings, who lost last week, but the loss still looked kind of impressive against the upstart Redskins. Dallas at Carolina. Okay, it's like this, Cam Newton. I've praised you. I've said you are a good quarterback. I've even said the Carolina Panthers would be a surprise team to make the playoffs. That's not happening. And every week I hear how good Cam Newton is, how he's the next great quarterback in the league. And week after week after week, you know what he does? He disappoints. His head's not in the game. He throws bad passes. He doesn't know when to run and when not to run. He's just makes stupid decisions but never gets called out for whatever reason. So Cam Newton and Carolina Panthers, I'm going with you for one more week. And if you disappoint me one more time, I take a vow right now. I will never, ever pick you again here on Ducks Note Sports. So I'm going with Carolina over Dallas, but buyers beware. New Orleans at Tampa Bay, interesting matchup. New Orleans coming off a big win, but I will go with the New Orleans Saints to get it done against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Green Bay at St. Louis. I don't care what anybody's saying about how Jeff Fisher's brought credibility to the team. The St. Louis Rams still suck, so I'll go with Green Bay. Washington at New York Giants. When you say you down with RG3, you say you know me. But that being said, I really like the way the New York Giants are playing right now, and I will go with the G-Men. Tennessee at Buffalo. I think the craziness of Buffalo will be the difference in this one. I think the Buffalo Bills go to 4-3 in the season and beat the Tennessee Titans. Cleveland at the Colts. Cleveland got the big win last week against the Bengals, but I think at home the Colts, Andrew Luck will be ready in this one. I think Andrew Luck and the Colts get it done. New York Jets at the New England Patriots. A very, very interesting matchup. A big matchup, but I will go with Tom Brady and the Pats to get it done in Foxborough. And our last one, Jacksonville at Oakland. Not the best matchup of the week, but I will go with the Oakland Raiders at home to get it done in the Black Hole. That's it for the pick segment, but just remember, keep track of my picks because last week I was a very unimpressive and a very embarrassing, disgusting 5-9. Not my best week. I mean, a lot of teams disappointed. From San Francisco to Houston to San Diego to freaking Cincinnati losing to Cleveland. I don't see who loses to Cleveland. Like, honestly, who loses to Cleveland? But bringing my record to 53-38, so not horrible, not great, but not awful. Till next time, I'm your Ducks for saying I'm Ducks, and I know sports.